It's the Melanin Queens.
Wait, girl, who is that?
Here's your host, Maria Michelle Lee, and Miss Sister Queen, Kim Ann Wilson, breaking down the misconceptions of how women treat each other and highlighting their royal beauty.
Hey, it's the Melanin Queen podcast day.
Yeah.
Woo. Happy Earth Day too. Thank you, Father God, for creating such amazing greeneries that we pull and source from you all the time, aka shea butter.
Oh yes. We love our shea butter.
Yes, we lather in it, we bathe in it. Coconut oil was a thing in our house before coconut oil was a thing.
Right? Like braids.
So happy Earth Day to you guys. Happy Monday. It is us, Maria Michelle Lee, Kim Ann Wilson, and we are bringing you podcast, videocast right now in the present. We are so excited to be here. Kim, jump in. What's going on?
Queens, thank you for joining us today. You are listening to episode 13. Queens, this one's a hot one, and our title for today's podcast is Microwave Success.
Ooh. Microwave success.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna be really honest with you. Microwave success actually just came organically, and I love when Kim and I are having our powwows and we're going over our strategies for the week and the months to come and looking at our calendar and talking business shop, and then we start having these really great conversations. That's the thing. So those of you who are just joining in for the first time and have never heard of the Melanin Queens before, thank you so much for coming out and joining us today. And actually, you've joined us on a really, really great show because, as I was saying, Kim and I, we always have these amazing conversations and the authentic rawness comes out, and it's like we forget that, we're trying to plan a podcast. And so this is how this conversation happened today, because we were talking about the realness of what it takes. I simply asked Kim a question: how long has it been that she's been doing her thing, wanting it to be her interchange, her big girl job, and not work in the corporate sector? How long have you been grinding? How long have you been researching, staying up late? And when we started to talk about it, and then all of a sudden, ding, 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 it went off in my head, and like, Kim, we're gonna have to bump what's on the schedule today, and we're gonna have to go with this. Kim, what do you think?
No, I agree with you, Maria, and that's one thing why I love the fact that we have this platform, is so that we can share those pivotal moments, because at the end of the day, we're talking from our own experiences, right? And, it's so important to share those experiences with other queens so that you guys can understand too that, what you're going through is not an anomaly. Anomaly.
Yeah, I can't say compartmentalize. I have to break that down.
Compartmentalized anomaly. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not unique to you. We all go through the exact same things. It's just maybe at different parts of our journey, right? So to answer your question, Maria, for me, to be honest with you, that, like you said, for me, that started, it's further back than when I originally told you. To be honest with you, my entrepreneurial instincts and drive and desire came about when I was in college, to be honest. Here in Canada, actually, because I don't know, many of you probably don't know. If you've been snooping on LinkedIn and checking me out, then you'll know that I'm not from Canada. Obviously, you can hear it in my accent as well, too. But I came here as a scholar student. I had a full scholarship to Ontario, where I finished business administration. Right? And while I was in Ontario in college, I was introduced to a student-run organization. Myself and 3 other students actually founded that organization for that college. It was the first ever. So it was great. And then my entrepreneurial, thirst kind of was born there. So it's back in 2011, Maria, to be honest. So from there, that's when I started doing the researching, the reading up, and you know how you go into this deep hole. It's like going on Pinterest.
Yeah.
One to another, right? It's 2011, I would say. So what? 9 years? 9 years now?
That's amazing. I know for myself, no one in my family that I know of was entrepreneurial. So I don't know how it fell on me. I just always knew that I was the girl who was meant to dance to the beat of my own drum.
Yeah.
It's not that I couldn't hold a job. It's just that I like to say the job could never hold me because it's just like, okay, I could do it your way, but your way is very boring. And I think there's a whole other way that we can make this fun. Or I have to say I was in retail my high school years, right? First jobs and stuff. And I worked retail while I was trying to do the college thing. And I think the most fun job back then was when I worked, I'm not getting any sponsors from this store, is when I worked for The Gap. When The Gap first came to Canada, there was this trend about the Gap. I mean, like, it was like popping and people were happy and there were bright colors and, there are all these, I don't know what the word would have been back then, but creatives, these creative minds and everything. That was probably the only place that I worked for back then that had the ultimate creativity, the ultimate brand sass back then. I'm talking when Gap first came. I'm not talking about, I don't know what it's like now. I haven't worked there in umpteen years, but I'm just saying that's when I think of color, when I think of pop, when I think of happy, that was it. But other than that, I couldn't do the 9-to-5 thing. I was always grinding, reading, writing, and then myself got into fitness and it kind of ran from there. And then from there, I added a service of spray tan. And then from there, it kind of went to speaking and teaching athletes how to pose for their competitions and present. And I was able to dabble in, confidence building there. So it kind of just went from there. I have been entrepreneurial since I had Cayman. So that was I really dived into entrepreneurial at 2007.
Wow. Okay. So pretty much we're along the same lines, pretty much, I would say. Right? For me, yes, I knew I was entrepreneurial, to be honest with you, from I was like small. But I didn't understand what that meant or what that looked like, right? Until the word became popular. Then you realize, go ahead.
No, I said, or if it was accepted or allowed.
Right, exactly. For me, I kept thinking, okay, I need to have a title. Right? So I finished school. After school, I'm like, okay, well, now I guess I need to find a job, right?
Yeah.
With what I studied, because that's, we talked about this before, Maria. It's explainable, right? When you said, ooh, I'm a professor. Right off the bat, I don't need to describe it. You know exactly what it is. I'm a cop. Full stop. You know exactly what that entails. But for me, I've never really wanted to have a title, even with my studies. We had to choose whether or not we wanted to specialize in a particular field, whether it's accounting, whether it's marketing, whether it's HR. I chose general because I'm like, no, I do not want to be fit in a box. What if tomorrow I wake up and I want to explore something else? Are you telling me that I won't have the knowledge or the skills or the education or theory to go and actually fulfill that piece? So I said, no, I want to do general because I want to be able to be fluid. I want to be able to change as the economy changes. and not be
Oh my gosh.
stuck in a box where I can't get out of it, and I'm digging a bigger hole for myself because guess what? There's no jobs in that particular field.
Oh my gosh, that was said so well. I want to be in a place where it can be interchangeable
Mhm.
in a changing economy.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing that.
Mhm.
I love that because um the fact of the matter is like the economy is completely different from the economy 10, 15, 5 years ago.
A year ago.
A year ago, right? And I mean, and every minute, I mean, if you're not, you don't have to sit there and obsess over the news, but if you're not paying attention, you will realize that every blinking 4 years, teachers' jobs are at risk. Public service jobs are at risk. Our healthcare is at risk. And I'm just like, that is not right. You know what I mean? It's not right. And then it makes it seem like, okay, then everything else, if you mess around with that, then you're messing around with the flow of everything else. And it puts people at risk. And I say it all the time. And one day, Gary Vee is going to hear me, but I love what Gary Vee has to say. You gotta have some content. You gotta get into digital. You gotta get into the age where we are right now. Whether you're doing your big girl job and you're percolating in the background, you're planting the seeds in the background, you gotta do it because the market will, if you put yourself in that box that Kim was saying, the market is going to dictate when you should eat and when you can't eat. For me now, I got that lesson hard and fast, and I it was not. Sorry.
No, and you see, because of that exact reason, Maria, it's hard to plan for the future if you're in that sphere, if you're in that environment, if you're controlled by, the typical constituents of a conventional job. Hey, I'm not knocking anybody because look, I'm going back to work. Actually, when this airs, I'll be back at work. So there you go, right?
But you're percolating.
Yeah, but at the same time, I know it's, my 9 to 5 is my investment into my real passion. It's an investment. It's not where I'm gonna be. It's not where I'm gonna retire from. No, I'm using that funds to fund my dream, to fund my passion, to fund my business, right? Because at the end of the day, where I am, I'm there working, building somebody else's dream, quite frankly, right? And, Maria, that's when, for me, I literally started my first business. My first business I started in 2015. And I say first business because it was the first one I did, like, really real.
Right.
Like, went out, got it registered, got registration number, was to the T lawfully, right? I abided the law that way. That was in 2015 when I started my consulting business. Mind you, I graduated from college in 2012. I started working at the end of 2012. So December 2012, I graduated. And then I started working February 2013 as a marketing and operations, Marketing and operations consultant or something. I can't remember. And it's funny because while I was there working, Maria, that's where I was able to do all the necessary preparations to open my business in 2015. So I'm not gonna knock it. Queens, if you're there, if you have downtime, think of ways that you can strategize and use your time wisely while you're at your job. I'm not telling you to go and forsake your work and forsake what your bosses has told you to do, but instead of going and checking Facebook, why not go and check out an article or go check out a book from the library and read and see how you can take that information and use it wisely and productively to something for your business. Right?
Exactly. I agree with you, Kim. I agree with you. If you're working corporately already, do what you have to do. All I have to say is percolate, be planting seeds, water the garden, get out there, do the things that you have to do. The best platform for me for me, the experience that I had was, being on that podium every week, several times a week teaching fitness. That's what got me to speak well and encourage. And it was already there. I'll tell you that right now. And I think I've said it in a podcast before. It was already there. I mean, like, I knew that I wanted to be a speaker since I was 17, 18 years old. And I believe I told the dream already in the dream I had already, which my mom says was a vision, about me speaking on a platform to thousands and thousands of people. So I knew that. But again, like Kim said earlier, how do you explain that? What's a motivational speaker? What's an inspirational speaker back then? How do you explain that? So literally, whether I was conscious or unconscious, I was working through the maneuver of that. I took to the stage. I taught fitness classes. I empowered women along the way. Somebody was in their tent for a spray tan, but they got more than a spray tan. They got words spoken over them. If they were a believer and they were really nervous about the fitness model competition that they were in, I would stand in that tent and I would literally pray for them because they were, thank you so much, Maria. I needed that. So to speak, like, I was always in avenues where it was going to happen. But the point of today's podcast is this: microwave success. What Kim and I are telling you right now, we have the both of us combined pretty much 18 years of experience. 18 years of learning, 18 years of grinding, 18 years like combined, it's not coming easier, having to either go back and get that 9 to 5 so we can dump a whole bunch of money into our businesses, coming home from work, making supper, taking care of our family responsibility, and then studying for the next thing. It doesn't happen. When we had our guest from, was it episode 10, Kim? Renee, how she talked about, right?
Yes.
You have to do what you have to do to make it work. There is no such thing as microwave success. And we talked about, I think that was our episode 2, where you're looking on social media and it seems as if they got it yesterday. They did not get it yesterday. And you have to ask for you to have a different set of eyes when you're looking at social media. You have to ask for a different set of eyes. When you are in your prayer time, you have to ask for a different set of eyes in this digital age, and to stop looking at social media like it just showed up yesterday.
Right. Yeah, true. And also too, like when you're deciding what it is you actually want to go out and accomplish, make sure you're in it for the long haul. Because like Maria is saying, it's not going to happen tomorrow, next month, next week, next year even, depending, everybody's story is different and everybody's journey, takes them on a different path. But make sure you're in it for the long haul. Make sure you're in it till the end. Because if you're going to start today and in 2 years' time you're not seeing a turnaround and you're going to give up, then you weren't really in it for the right reasons, right? And I remember this guy on YouTube, he was doing back in, I think, 2003, thereabouts, Maria. He was doing videos on dating.
Wow.
And that he was doing those videos, and it was like 3 years. He only had 9 subscribers. 9 subscribers, and he was doing it once a week for 3 years.
Wow.
How discouraging is that, Maria? 9 subscribers. You look back 3 years and you still only have 9 subscribers, but one of those subscribers, Maria, that kept in tune, kept tuning in, no comments, no likes, nothing, just watching and paying attention and seeing what this man is doing, was Oprah Winfrey. Right? And she reached out to him, and now he has like a TV show and everything on dating and all these different things. So people look at that, they see his TV show, they're like, oh my gosh, where did he come from? His overnight success. No. He was putting out content, like Maria was saying. He was putting out content consistently every single week for 3 years. with no encouragement from no one. Just except Oprah, eight subscribers.
Which he didn't even know that Oprah was watching.
Exactly.
Yes,
You don't even know.
And it wasn't until that announcement is probably, he probably only went up to 200 subscribers at that time.
There you
when
go.
Oprah said, I'm watching,
Exactly.
right? And
exactly.
he still had to keep pushing. Just because Oprah's watching does not necessarily mean that you're going to get 19,000 subscribers overnight.
Right. Exactly.
And I don't mean to cut you off, Kim, but here's the other thing. Stop living for your likes and your subscribers. Can you please just put out the content because you believe in the content? Quality content. That's right, Kim. Quality content because you believe in it so much. Quality content because it's changed your life and you want to share it with somebody else. For example, I was at a trade show this weekend and, people asked, what do you do? And I said, I am of service for people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Sick and tired of listening to that same album that's playing all the time in their head. I am here because I want to break the people-pleasing syndrome that you have. Because you know why? Because I was a people pleaser and I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I got sick and tired of being people's yes, ma'am. I got sick and tired of it, right? But it took time for me to get there. I don't know who I was talking to. I don't know. I've been told out here where I'm at, the producer for So this past weekend, I was at a trade show and people had asked me, inspirational, motivational speaker, what is it that you do? And I said, I'm here for the people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm there for the people who has played this album in their head for too long and it's looping. The song is looping. I tell them, I'm there to help you break the people-pleasing syndrome that you may have. Why? Because I was a people pleaser and I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, excusing myself, pushing myself aside, and not being happy. And I said, people must not want to feel like this all the time because I don't want to feel like this all the time. And through that experience, I was able to create this system, right? How to break the people-pleasing syndrome. And from there, I had to have the experience, but from there, I'm able to share it with somebody else. I'm building my content. I'm building quality content, And it's just like, I don't know who I was speaking to at that trade show. So many people came back and forth from that trade show. I don't know who they were. I'm sure I would get their name, but I don't know their backstory. I've been told that where I live, there is a popular TV show that people jump onto on Fox every week, and the person that does their music lives right here.
Oh, wow. You're right, Maria, in talking about that, because we had this discussion, I think, I can't remember when it was or in what we were doing it in regards to, but it's in regards to keywords. We had that discussion and I was saying, you know what? Let's not focus on adding keywords to what we're doing because concentrate on putting out quality content. If we just focus on making sure that what we put out is going to be beneficial and add value to your lives, queens, we ain't got to worry about no keywords, right? I find that content that's out there that's just filled with keywords, it is so watered down, it has no value, it doesn't do anything for you. Right? So, just focus, queens, on just sharing your authentic self. Just focus on sharing you and adding value. Once you're doing that, trust me, you'll be fine. You'll be more than fine.
And also too, remember, it's not going to happen overnight. That's the reality. Actually, that's the point that we want you to understand. It's not going to happen overnight. I don't know who told you it's going to happen overnight, but it's not going to happen overnight. And if anybody tells you that their business can fly overnight, tell them to send us an email. Tell them to message us, DM us, because I'd be happy to refer them to us at, don't swear, Maria, crap load of people that will tell you it does not happen overnight. Even if you're in network marketing, it does not happen overnight. And if you want your money fast, guess what's going to happen on the other side? Yeah, you're going to lose your money fast. And at some point in time, yes, we have bills to pay. We have roofs that we want to keep over our heads. We have fridges that we need to fill. I get that. I get that. But if you're driven because you want the next little red sports car that costs more than one house, because there's a certain type of shoes that you want to purchase, there are vacations you want to go on, okay, great, reward yourself, but work for it.
Yeah.
That beautiful vacation you want to take to Europe or the Caribbean islands or the far off, untalked about, untapped, little islands that you want to go to. That's awesome. Set the goal, set the vision, build the dream. I get it. But if you think it is going to happen in several days, I'm sorry. There's no such thing as microwave success.
Not at all. And for you to even expect it is far-fetched too. But, that being said, for you that are there working tirelessly from your 9 to 5, some people have 2 jobs and still trying to build their hustles, right? So, kudos to you, because you understand that it takes hard work and it takes grit, it takes blood, sweat, tears, and everything else in between. For me, what helped me launch my first business in 2015, like I said, being at work 9 to 5, was I was able to, my work didn't consist me dealing with people per se. Yes, I dealt with people, but it wasn't like in person. So I had most of my time, I can have my headphone on, I'm listening to music. Not really, I'm listening to a podcast. I'm listening to a podcast on how to build a website or how to market or how to network, how to do PR, how to do all of these things so that when I get home that evening, I can put those things into action, right? So that was one thing that I did. Another thing too was my lunchtime. Yeah, I eat my lunch, but also I'm doing stuff for my business, right?
Yeah.
So utilize the time, utilize every single moment you can, because by the time you get home, all the other responsibilities are there waiting for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna get tired. Just like Renee on episode 10, she was saying she doesn't go to bed till like 2, 3 in the morning. And then she's up at what time? 5, 6 o'clock to get to work. So, every time you can get in between that day, utilize it, queens, maximize it. And don't beat yourself up about a day that goes by where you weren't able to add to your business or add to your dream, because you do need to listen to your body and rest when you need to rest.
Exactly. That is so true. It is very, very true. And I mean, here are the little things. You can't eat an elephant in a day, right? You can't. Some things are going to have limits. Some things are going to not propel you, so you can't get to the next step as fast. But instead of being upset about it, sit back and ask why. So here's a little bit of a story. Today, I'm trying to give out content for my Instagram page. I try to give a video every other day or so. And I had this piece of content that I needed to share, and it just wouldn't come out. I stumbled, it didn't feel right, it wasn't coming out right. And then finally I said, screw it. I just got on and I said, listen, I had some content that I wanted to share with you today, some tips that I wanted to share, and it just wouldn't come out. And my brain is foggy, it's been the long weekend, my brain is tired. And I'm gonna share that with you. I'm tired today and I need to rest. get rest, and refuel. That's all. That's it. I mean, sometimes being that authentic can help you grow. Being that authentic, it's not always about what you think they want to hear. It's about what you have the ability to share. I was telling Kim earlier today when we were talking about this is the way that we need to go. I was just saying, like, I don't want to hear about people and their $3.5 million house. Okay, the money's already there. I want to hear how the landlord came to your door with the sheriff and pulled you out. And you had nowhere to go. That you found this shed to sleep in overnight. And you cried and you cried and you cried. I want to hear that. I want to hear when the story of Christopher, The Pursuit of Happiness. I want to hear that story, right? The movie that Will Smith did with his son Jaden. I want to hear that. I want to hear that because that gives me hope. That to me is reality. And guess what? His life didn't change in those 2.5 hours in the movie. That was over a span of 10 years. 10 years. I want to hear that. If you have money tucked away and you decided to invest in this money and launch this business, good for you. God bless you. I'm thankful. Thank you for sharing your story. For those who have money and know how they can multiply and create streams of income, thank you. But I was telling Kim, I was like, what I want to hear is what Kim and I had to do when we started the Melanin Queens. We had to go on the free website. We had to do the free podcast platforms. We had to come up with a name that wasn't so popular, that was only going to cost us chump change for a domain name. That's what I want to hear because we have a budget. You're laughing, Kim, but it's true.
No, I'm not laughing. I'm identifying with you because at the end of the day, we can only talk from experience, right? So for us to go and talk about this lavish lifestyle and all these things, we would be fitting and we would not be true to ourselves. So therefore, how can we then turn around and ask you to be true? Right? We can only share what we know, and this is what we know. We know the struggle. We know what it took. We know what we've been through, so we can say the same for you, queens, and say, you know what? Forget all of that, forsake all of that, but look on to what's ahead. Look on to what's coming. If you keep pressing forward, you are guaranteed to get a harvest. If you just keep sowing the seed day in and day out, you will reap that reward at the end of the day. So just keep pressing on. So that's what we can share because that's what we've seen.
That's where we're coming from, right? That's where we're coming from. And that is our constant goal to share with you guys is to be authentic and to tell you the truth. Kim and I had an idea. And from that idea and a bowl of vermicelli.
Yes, that was so good. That was so good.
That was good, right? The vermicelli was so good. Spicy lemongrass vermicelli. Man, that was good. So good. And a piece of paper and a pen created an idea. It planted a seed, okay? It's 2019, and I believe we came up with the idea spring 2018?
17. It was
2017.
Because you decided, remember you said you had plans to move, so we'll put this on the back burner. We won't talk about the Melanin Queens.
And she was having a baby.
And then I went ahead and had a baby, so we went on the back burner again. And enough is enough.
But still, Kim, we were still percolating. We were still percolating, dropping ideas in the bucket, and then so that we had stuff, right?
Yes.
And then, so that's what I'm saying. It did not happen overnight. We had to plant a seed and we had to start.
And life happened in between.
A lot of life happened.
A lot of life happened.
But we're thankful for a lot of that life.
Amen.
A lot of that life brought us really great content.
There you go.
With you today.
There you go. Yep.
So ladies, that's what I want to tell you. That's what we want to tell you. That there's no such thing as microwave success. And what's that old saying? If it seems too too good to be real, then
No, if it seems too good to be true, then it pretty much is.
not. Yeah. So, ladies, take your time. And kings, if you're listening as well, I mean, like yes, but if you're out there as well, don't be in such a rush. Percolate, man. Plant those seeds, man. Plant those seeds. And then you want to be listening to this podcast because you want to have great conversation with your queen. Tell them that you're listening to this podcast today. Tell them that you found this podcast. We can be found on Spotify, iTunes, Google. We're there. So yes, microwave success, no such thing. So this is episode 13. Thank you so much for joining us today. Kim, why don't you let them know about our project?
Yes, queens. I don't know if you've had a chance to check out our brand new website along with our amazing new ebook. This is our first ebook that we have out, so you do want to go over and check that out. It's on our website at themelaninequeens.com. Please go in, subscribe, and you get your copy of the ebook. And if you are among our first 30 subscribers, you get this for free. So FYI, you want to go do that right away. Otherwise, you have to go on Amazon to buy it for $1.99. Inexpensive. It's filled with great quantity and quality information, tips, tools, even worksheets, queens, on how to live your most authentic self today. So you need to go get that done. So head on over to our website and subscribe, get the ebook, and let us know your feedback on what you think about our book. I guarantee you'll finish that book and you'll definitely feel more bolder, for sure.
So, queens, with that being said, we're getting ready to log off, but I want to share this with you today. You are more than enough, and we say that each and every time we come on here. But love yourself enough to know that things just don't happen overnight. Be realistic with yourself. It's okay. Yes, you will see people that you are watching and they seem like they're flying by and you are being left behind. But as God creates a child, and that child takes 9 months, make a mini goal. Set a goal. Where do you want to be every 3 months for the next 9 months? Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? It might be as simple as, let me log on. Let me create a free website. And from there, let me get on to social media. I can only post 1 post a week. Okay, just start. But what was I telling my son? Life is about the turtle and the hare. So, you know that story? Have you know that story, Kim, the turtle and the hare?
Oh, yeah.
So it's about that. Be the turtle. You don't always have to be the hare. And as you notice, the hare got burnt out and took his rest a little too long. Mm-hmm. So, ladies, kings, queens, do you and do the best that you can do. This is your race, not their race. And microwave.
We know microwave food don't taste good anyway, so come on. You know the real thing. It takes longer, but guess what? It always tastes better.
Do you microwave a turkey or do you roast the turkey?
Right? Exactly.
Rather.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Kim, Ann, and I are blessed every week to have you join us. Stay fabulous, stay authentic, adjust your crown. Everything's going to be okay.
Hey,
bye-bye.
Bye, queens.
We're all royalty. Fix another queen's crown. And when you do it in private. Until next time, girls.